Well, Lebanon is estimating that 1 million people have been displaced by Israel's military campaign against Hezbollah there. That is roughly 20% of the country's entire population. The Lebanese caretaker prime minister said that, quote, this is the largest displacement operation and it happened in the south within a span of just a few hours. The situation poses major challenges related to food, shelter and public health. Well, Mathieu Luciano is the head of the Lebanon office for the International Organization for Migration, or IOM, and he joins us now from Beirut. And you are there. We have seen the images of people camped out with nearly 1 million displaced in some way or another. Give us a sense of the situation in the city for people right now.
Thank you. Good morning, Becky, and thank you very much for having me. I mean, you said it right. I mean, you saw the images, you saw the footages as well. In the past week, really, hundreds of thousands of Lebanese have fled. They left their homes to be able to seek shelter. So the numbers are really difficult to quantify. Indeed, the government speaks about 1 million persons displaced. What we know, and as of the latest figures, is that 150,000 people are registered, have sought shelter in one of the 850 schools that the government has opened. So the needs are really dire. People are living from everywhere. You said that the conflict has been going for a year nearly, and then people used to be displaced, mostly from the south, because of the shelling in the south. But what we've seen, in the past 10 days, in the last week, is really people living from everywhere, living from the south, living from the Bekaa, living from Beirut as well, to seek shelter.
And leaving from the north into Syria, which itself has been, of course, destabilized over the past 10 years or more by conflict. Just how big a risk do Lebanese civilians face who are on the move at this point?
Yeah, so maybe just to go back on the fact that indeed not everybody is seeking, shelter or refuge, within Lebanon, and many actually in the past week have tried to cross into Syria. I think the figures are more or less 150,000 people who crossed into Syria in the past week. 100,000 Syrians, but also 50,000 Lebanese across all border posts, whether it's actually regular border crossings or irregular border crossings as well. The journey here is very difficult as well. Some of the border points have been bombed too, and we've seen also images of long queues at the border, and people waiting to enter. The situation is very, very difficult for all the people who've been displaced. As you said, they need shelter, they need a place to stay. We still have many people sleeping on the streets. They need blankets, they need mattresses, they need food, they need access to healthcare services as well. The needs are really, really significant, and we're just making every effort, with our UN colleagues as well and the government to respond to those needs.
And there have been offers of support. I know the UAE, United Arab Emirates, has offered $100 million in support for humanitarian needs, and other countries also providing or offering support. It's about the mechanism and how that support gets to the people who need it most. This has been, of course, a caretaker government in Lebanon since 2019. Logistically, how tough are things going to be if this continues? Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant signaling today Israel may carry out a ground offensive. We've seen the tanks lining up on the border. What would that mean for the people in the south and for the sort of needs going forward?
Yeah, if there was to be indeed a land incursion into Lebanon and into the south, the situation would be actually, even more catastrophic. What we can, remind ourselves of is the 2006 example. The war in 2006, where there was indeed, heavy shelling and land incursion in the south. What does it mean? It means that people will be stuck, right? I mean, they won't be able to leave because of damages to the roads, to the bridges, so they'll be stuck under the fire line. It will be very difficult for them to access any type of humanitarian assistance, and it will also be really difficult for us to reach them and provide any relief. So we've been working on that for the past year, in terms of preparedness and ensuring that we position stocks, of shelter items, blankets, and food, and we actually position them strategically in areas where they would be needed, including in the south. So those exist, but again, access would be a significant constraint if there were military operations in the south. As you said, there's a need for resources. I read as well, and I saw as well, that the UAE has committed to contributing $100 million. I mean, other countries, other governments have also, indicated that they're ready to support. The UN will launch tomorrow with the government an appeal, which will outline the priority needs and funding needs. So this will be launched tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's a real message of concern there from Beirut. Thank you. And as we mentioned, the UAE has unveiled a $100 million